So, Factorio is going to be releasing one of the biggest content updates I think it pretty much ever has. I know this isn't the typical type of video that I usually upload, but I kind of have to. I'm so excited for this October 21st, 2024. The Space Age release is coming out, and there are a lot of things coming with this update. So if you actually go to the page, you will see that the Space Age expansion is going to be $35, which is the same as the current price of the base game. So, it's a little on the pricey side, I guess, but personally, I think for the amount of content this will generate for us Factorio players, and even us non-Factorio players, $35 is absolutely worth it. And there's a lot of stuff here that we can take a look at to show what they are adding, because, oh boy, if you didn't know this was happening, you're missing out, and this is your chance to get excited. It's 3 days away. Oh boy, I am very excited for this. So let's go ahead and kind of scroll through this a little bit. I'm not going to get super in depth just yet, but let's go ahead and take a look at some of the stuff we're going to be adding here. So after you launch your rocket into space and complete the game, you'll be able to discover new worlds. So there's going to be a bunch of new planets. So we have Vulcanus, we have Fulgura, we have Gleba, and we have another planet that has not yet been mentioned to us. We can see down here an enigmatic fifth planet promises some of the most unique gameplay but remains shrouded in mystery. So we have all new planets for us to visit. And on each of these planets, we do get unique items. So, for example, here on Vulcanus, we have blazing volcanic mountains, imposing geological landforms, plains blanketed in ash. But we also get to extract and refine tough, unbreakable tungsten to craft big mining drills and foundries. We can pull lava to basically produce molten and iron copper, or iron and copper, which is really nice, very interesting to see how this plays out. And we can get advanced metallurgy technologies and build an industrial forge world. Very neat. So we actually can go to these Friday facts and take a deeper dive into these. Now I'm not going to go into them just yet, but if you want to take a look at these, you certainly can. I might go back over these. I probably will. But let's go ahead and continue on what we're currently looking at here. We also have a new planet. It's going to be called Fulgura, a lifeless and desolate place. The thin air is freezing cold but bone dry. A distant sun twinkles in the dull purple of the sky. Wispy clouds race by as gale whips up sand that grates against your armor. Protect yourself from nightly lightning storms, harnessing their unrelenting power for your own electricity. Very interesting. Basically, kind of sounds like it's going to be something you can kind of dedicate lots of power to this planet. Like very power hungry things, like think robots and stuff like that can be very power hungry. You can stop using efficiency modules and just use production, or just speed and stuff like that. High tech scraps the ruins of a long forgotten civilization and recycle them into usable products, and unlocking advanced electromagnetic and superconducting powers of holmium. Not sure what these two exactly mean for us as players. It doesn't really specify. But here on Gleba, we have a swampy kind of Shrek looking place. Looks very aesthetically pleasing, honestly. The air is thick and humid here. Discover exotic plants, cultivate and harvest their fruits with agriculture towers. So we're finally moving to more biologic stuff. We actually have some maybe those farming simulator lovers out there might get some value out of this, at least mentally, if anything. Cook, crush, and process your produce before they rot and turn to spoilage. Just kind of gives me the idea that you have to process them at a certain speed or you're going to see spoilage. So that's definitely an extra depth mechanic that us Factorio players love. You got to use your materials as soon as you're producing them and stuff like that. And venture into a new realm of biochemical engineering. Definitely a lot of content there. We do also get to see our first three-dimensional usage of this game other than robots. It is going to be multi-level rails. Very interesting. I never really was a huge train user until relatively recently when I started using them a little bit more. So this is definitely a little beyond me, but I can know for a fact a lot of Factorio players are going to absolutely enjoy this. And this is probably the thing that I'm the most excited for, at least one of the things, because there's a lot of really good stuff to be excited for. Making higher tier quality items and machines and equipment. So every item, entity, and equipment has 5 possible qualities from normal to legendary. That is going to be hilarious. That is going to be an insane gameplay loop. I am very excited to see that. It kind of makes me feel like you'll see more value in those late game factories. You're not building wide, you're building tall. And I think that that's going to give us some insane content. Because to be honest, late game Factorio has lacked a lot of content, at least for me, so I stopped playing a while back. We have researched the new quality modules, use them to craft higher tier items and intermediates, and each level gives you a greater bonus, machines craft faster, equipment's more powerful, turrets have increased range, etc. This turret's having increased range, definitely very interesting and interesting indeed. But we also have, new music, a new planet, new enemies on these new planets, and they've talked about these very interesting stuff. But we also get a free upgrade for everyone with the Factorio 2.0. This is going to be one of my favorite updates, and I will actually talk about this: smarter worker robots. If you don't know anything about me, I love using robots. I have several tutorials on my channel about them. I'm going to explain this briefly. So this is what the old robots used to do. So if you're not understanding exactly what's happening here, basically there are some items in this chest that this chest is currently requesting. Now, you'll see that the robots are kind of coming from anywhere around the game, anywhere around your area, to come pick them up. Basically, the way it works is there is like a list. So let me go ahead and kind of draw this out for you here. All right. So let's say, for example, we have a requester here, right? Or sorry, a provider. That's actually a provider chest. Reds are providers. Let's say we have a provider chest here, and it's providing items, and that this here is requesting, right? Let's assume these little gray blobs are, these little gray circles are our robots. Currently, we have, say, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 robots currently available for our factory to use. If, for example, let's say we have, let's just go ahead and put like a roboport. Let's just put a roboport like over here. Sure. All right, so let's go ahead and write that out here. We have a roboport. And I actually really want to cover this because this is actually game changing, believe it or not. So let's say we have a roboport. So with the current setup, the way that the game works, if there are, say, 10 items inside this chest, and there are 10 items requested, this is what's gonna happen. And I'll show you, just kind of walk you through what's gonna happen. Robot number 1, robot number 2, robot number 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 will all path to this chest at the same time. The moment that this order is ready to be picked up and that this order is placed, all 7 of these robots will immediately take off to this provider chest and move them to this requester chest. And then typically you'd see, say, robot number 3 here, robot number 1 and 2 finish this process first and move back to the roboport. So naturally, because robots number 1, 2, and 3 will be inside the roboport sooner, you have 1, 2, and 3, you will find that we still have, at that point, we would have 3 items inside this provider that still need to be moved. And then robots number 1, 2, and 3 would fly back out, go back to this provider, go back to the requester, and take it back. So now, that's kind of a really lengthy explanation, but that's what is happening here. You see, we have all these items inside this chest, and we're trying to move them here. We have robots from all over the factory now flying to this chest to move them to here and going to the roboport. Now, here is what the new system is going. Actually, I'll just show you because it's beautiful. This is what the new system is going to do. And it is just, it's wonderful. This right here is so amazingly efficient for many reasons. And it's pretty easy to see why. This is obviously faster. So if you actually go up here and look at the time it took for this process to finish, it's significantly faster. But it actually has another very powerful benefit. You see, if we have a robot, say robot number 1, going back and forth here 10 times, now there's a solid possibility that if robots number like 3 through 7 have a distance that's so far away from this provider that actually 10 times going back and forth here is faster, or rather it's less distance. It's actually going to be more resource efficient for power. Yeah, there's a lightning strike for that. Great. So this is actually going to be a huge power save for a lot of people whenever they are running large numbers of robots. This will save you dramatic amounts of electricity and speed up your factory significantly. So this is by far one of the most, I guess, one of the things I'm most excited for. Very, very fun to see. They also, having a list of the busy robots going through it each time a new task comes up may work fine for small factories with thousands of robots like I use. It can become a drain on our FPS. So this is going to be really, really useful. There's other changes here as well with robots. Very, very excited to see these changes. So that is that. Now to kind of go into more depth here on like the other more interesting things as far as the actual real content that some people are excited for. So we have a few new planets. Now I will kind of brush over these because it's very interesting information some people may not know. So the things that we are going to be seeing here, let's go ahead and see if we can't kind of get some aesthetic here to this planet. So there's a whole, obviously, of way new, just visuals to these planets. Very, very pretty. This game is just as gorgeous as ever. Interestingly enough, though, there is, of course, a new type of enemy. And it is actually a very, very scary one here on Vulcanus. Let's see if it actually shows it on this screen, on this video here. So there's going to be a new type of alien on this planet. There are no biters on this planet, but there is a new type of enemy. And they work in a very interesting way. Let's see if it actually shows it here, because it is an absolute monster. Let's take a look here. Is it going to show it? Maybe. It does not. That's fine. So, it may be in the... Oh, nice. We have like some other information here. I highly recommend reading through these if you are interested, because I am kind of scrolling through them a little quickly. It may not be super easy on the eyes, but I highly recommend checking it out. Very interesting. But the interesting thing, of course, from this is we're going to be getting the new forges. We're going to be getting lava that can be turned into stuff. Like, look at this forge. This looks awesome, by the way. Just like aesthetically looks sick. This is the main thing that we're seeing from this. And like, see here, we're turning like lava into like material here, which is very, very interesting. Very excited to see the kind of logistics that we can run with stuff like this, like with all these items moving in and out. Definitely excited to see. So we have bigger mining drills, we have bigger forges, and we theoretically have a new enemy. Let's see if these actually have them in. Or maybe I have to go back to the Steam page for this, because I do know that they released a update on this, because they have been releasing regular updates on this. I highly recommend checking these out. Of course, that page is actually not fully up to date because they've added more stuff since, like, look at this thing. What? This is going to be a absolutely massive update that comes out 3 days before my birthday. So very excited to see that, and I'm going to be losing a lot of time to it. And here's the actual enemy from Vulcanus that I wanted to show, because he's just so fucking scary. So basically, this is the enemy. It's basically just a giant, like, attacking worm. And it just kind of, they have, like, set territories. And if you build inside their territory, they will come and beat your ass. These are incredibly difficult creatures to kill, apparently. And they had, like, they mentioned, like, in their playtest, if you read this blog here, that the majority of players that actually encountered them the first time just straight up died, which is really neat. Most of them just didn't know what to do. It takes a lot of resources and power to really put one of these behemoths down, which I think is very fitting for their size. And I think it's really interesting because it's required for you to clear them out in order to actually, like, expand in your territory, which is really cool. And it talks about the creation style of this, which is really neat to see. It talks about their pathing, but it definitely looks really, really cool. One of the things that's neat about this enemy in particular is, yeah, here it is. So it shows they have their territory. So if you start building inside one of their boxes, Well, it's going to come over there and beat your ass. And you can kind of see the size of it here. It's like patrolling its territory. So you kind of have to clear yourself. And this will actually show on the map. So it's actually really neat how you can maybe like make wall blocks, I guess, just for fun. You don't have to build walls on this planet because there's no biters, right? But it's just kind of a neat concept. I thought was very interesting. Very fun to see. Very excited for this. That's at least Vulcanist. Now, I'm not entirely sure what kind of content we're going to be seeing from Volgura because I never really read too much on it. That being said, Gleba is going to be really neat. I think they're going to be adding a few new things to that because I do remember mentioning them mentioning that. Oh, hey, we're going to dive headfirst into the world of fluids. They're going to be talking about working on fluids. You can actually use the Gleba technologies to, because every planet's going to have new tech, right? Is this the new planet? Oh, ooh. I actually have not read this yet. Hold on, give me a minute. And so after reading this, it looks like this is going to be like a nice little ice planet. So if you don't actually heat your buildings, they will freeze, which is definitely interesting. So there's not a lot of basic resources on this planet. There's actually only a few. Actually, there's really not too many. So your resources are solar at 1%. Crude oil, lithium brine, fluorine gas, ammoniacal solution, ammonia, something to do with ammonia. That being said, you can actually see here, I'll actually leave it on screen for a moment here if you want to pause and read this, what it can be actually used for. So there's a couple of interesting technologies here. Of course, we don't really know what all of these items do, but apparently this cryogenic plant is going to be used for a lot of looping recipes that have 8 module slots, so it's definitely very interesting. But definitely kind of curious to see where things go with this, and we actually do get access to railguns, apparently. Quantum processors also needed to make the final turret in the game, which is unlocked on Aquilio, which is pretty neat. Or Aquilo, whatever. So definitely some very fun stuff. And it does say what will they actually be needed for. I will let you speculate. So there's so much content coming into the game. This is going to be an amazing update. You guys should be excited if you've ever played Factorio and if you enjoy Factorio. This is going to be one hell of an update. And it comes out in 3 days. It's going to be next Monday. So, yeah, be ready for it. Have the $35 set aside for it in the budget because it's going to be worth it. We have new fluid systems, new terrain generation, and more every week whenever they're adding stuff to it. So, take a look at it. You will see just the world of content that we are getting on. And of course, we have changes to fluids, which is going to be awesome because it's going to make some of my videos irrelevant, but it is what it is. Definitely something that we are excited to see and something that we were excited to buy. I'm excited to buy this. This is going to be awesome. Of course, this is part of the free portion of the update because this is all the Factorio 2.0 free stuff. Yeah, tons of content. Take a look at it. There's going to be new rails and stuff like that. You can have different stuff going on here. Very exciting things. So take a look at it. Be ready. Be excited. I'm so hype. I don't usually make videos like this where I just kind of talk about certain stuff. So thank you for watching. If you did watch up to this point, I know it's not really my standard type of content. I'm sure you guys will see plenty of content from me regarding, I'll probably do like a straight up playthrough. To be honest, I'm I'll at least be recording my whole playthrough. Whether I upload it or not, I'm not really sure. It's something that I'm definitely interested in doing, but will I actually do it? Probably not. But either way, I wanted to make sure that you guys were aware that this was happening. If you weren't, if you somehow didn't know, now you know. But yeah, hopefully you guys will enjoy seeing, seeing this kind of video, seeing this kind of update coming to the game. It was a much needed content update, and boy, is it a content update. The Factorio team never ceases to amaze. But yeah, I'll go ahead and let you guys go. I'm gonna go to bed. I have a new job I started this week, and I gotta get to sleep. So have a good rest of your day, guys.